My name is Terry Wickham. I fell in love with horror films at a very early age of 4 years old when I would wait up to watch movies with my dad when he came home from work from the late shift at his job. It started with the Universal classics, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, Invisible Man, The Wolf Man, and The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Godzilla became one of my favorites. In the early 1970s, I was drawn to magazines in the grocery store, famous monsters of filmland, comic books like Eerie and Creepy. I also had those cool monster baseball cards that had Universal monsters as well as the Hammer films. And another thing that kids had back then at that time was the Aurora model kits. They featured all kinds of cool monsters like Godzilla, King Kong, Blackie, which of course, Creature from the Black Lagoon. At that point in history, we didn't have streaming platforms like you do today. Certainly, there was no Blu-ray or DVD. But what I did have, TV show called Nightmare Theater in the Seattle area where I grew up. The host of the show was a vampire called the Count, and he would introduce all kinds of horror films and science fiction films. It was every Friday night at 11:30 in the Seattle area, and I just ate those up. There were also cool shows on television like Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Night Gallery, Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, and probably my favorite at the time was Kolchak the Night Stalker. Later in the 70s and early 80s, I would go to my friends to watch cable because my family didn't have it, and I'd watch horror films like Blue Sunshine, The Hills Have Eyes, Humanoids from the Deep, which was particularly cool if you're a teenage boy. I really loved that highly prolific slasher movie time, which started really with John Carpenter's Halloween. Then it was followed by Terror Train, Madman, When a Stranger Calls, Maniac, The Prowler, The Burning, The Final Terror, The Fun House, Slumber Party Massacre, which I saw in a drive-in, and House on Sorority Row. The directors and films that really hit me the hardest and made the biggest impact on me would be John Carpenter's masterful Halloween, Fog, The Thing, Christine, James Cameron's Terminator, which in so many ways is a horror film, Aliens, Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street, Michael Mann's Manhunter, Heat, Insider, George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, Creepshow, and Russell Mulcahy's extraordinary vision for the Razorback and Highlander. You guys have the opportunity to make a difference in terms of this movie being made. I'm the most prepared I've ever been on a movie. This is the first film in my career that I've had storyboarded. I have every shot listed in not only the shooting script, but also the shooting schedule. My actors have been preparing for months. We are ready. My entire production team really appreciates any support that you guys can give to our film. Our goal is to make a cinematic tour de force that will put you on the edge of the seat, tension and suspense, and something you'll be proud of the rest of your life.